Food is the ultimate measurement of supply and demand.
Onions sit out in the sun, overflowing a 10-foot deep trench. These vegetables are going to waste because of the damage done by the coronavirus.
Economically speaking, in this valley, it's been very significant. So we've gone from shipping about 150 semi-loads per day down to below, or at least in the 70 truckload range. So we've lost more than half of our market share.
The Snake River region, which includes farms in both Idaho and Oregon, produces a substantial amount of onions.
We're the first or second. We trade back and forth with Washington every single year, being the largest production region in the United States.
And while the supply hasn't changed, the demand certainly has, after the United States started shutting down portions of the economy.
I think it's more scary than it is anything else, is just to see what the ramifications have been and how damaging this could be.
When restaurants closed down, or at least scaled back operations, that affected the food distributors, who in turn couldn't take any more onions. The supply chain is broken.
Processors have not been running. They've had to cancel contracts. Their outbound usage is not what they have been able to predict. And that's part of the other thing that's challenging, is we don't have any way to measure what's going on. We have a decade plus of information that we would normally go on and say, okay, this is how many acres we need to plant, and this is how many onions our customer base is going to consume, and that's all out the window now.
To make matters worse, this pandemic hit after Oahe Produce harvested their onions.
All the effort, all the time, all the dollars have been spent, and now you're still throwing it away.
So why not give the onions to a food bank? Well, Shay Myers told me the food distributor's excess product went to the food bank, but it would cost Oahe Produce more money to package the onions on a crop they're already losing on. That's why dairy farmers are pouring milk down the drain, and one of the reasons cranny farms piled up their potatoes and invited people to come take what they need.
We've lost a portion of this crop, and what will we lose in 2020? The 2020 season, we're already seeing reductions in contracts, and we have to consider that this is going to continue probably for at least a year.
So what does it all mean for the onion farmers in the Snake River region?
30% of us will be out of business this time next year if we continue the way that we are. And if we supply 40% of the onions for the United States from here, what does that mean? Where does that food supply shift to? Where does it come from?
Oahe Produce started in the 1950s. Shay Myers is a third-generation Idaho farmer, and COVID-19 has him worried. Not so much for health reasons, but economic reasons.
We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of loss just in this valley, just in the onion industry. I don't know how it's survivable without some sort of government help. We would prefer not to have government help. I think as an industry, most of us would say protect our industry, protect American agriculture.
Steve Dent, Idaho News 6.